As far as city council meeting agendas go, Tuesday nights, October 3rd, was actually a pretty light agenda as far as the number of items. However, as far as total impact on the community, there was one item that really kind of stood out from all the others, and that was the economic development agreement that we have with Sunset at Broken Arrow LLC to bring an amphitheater to Broken Arrow. Mr. Spurgeon, you want to start us off and just give us kind of the nuts and bolts. Tell us about this agreement.
Jennifer Rush started a relationship with this company, Notes Live, about possible ventures here in Broken Arrow, and they were looking for space for a specific type of venue. That did not work out, unfortunately. However, we maintained that relationship with them, so when they came back to us in late July, early August of this year and said that they were looking to put an outdoor amphitheater, at the time it was something less than what was approved last night, we immediately jumped on the possibility of making that happen. And with the support of the council, over the last 2 months, Jennifer Rush, led by the entire administration at the direction of the council, was able to bring to the governing body last night an agreement that would allow us to partner to bring a 12,500 seat outdoor amphitheater to our community, specifically in the southeast part of the city, on property either that the city owns or we're looking to acquire. And we're looking at, if everything goes as planned in the agreement, that facility could be completed and ready for concerts by the end of 2025.
And of course, you're talking about Events Park over just across the Creek Turnpike from NSUBA. Councilor Parks, you mentioned last night that you were really excited about this agreement, and you specifically mentioned Events Park. What is it about that venue that makes it the perfect location for the amphitheater?
Well, the Events Park is something that my own family uses a lot, and a lot of people do use the Events Park. In fact, I was just out there a couple of weeks ago working with the Scott Fest and the Civitans, very well used. The people that own that property, Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, would be very pleased with how much that was being used, because they worked with the city, for the city to get that property for the public's use. And what greater public use can we have than this? Now, from the master plan back in the early 2000s, 2011 anyway, it was set up that there would be a amphitheater in there. And so I'm just very excited. I feel like the owners, the original owners, would be very pleased with this.
Why is this a good fit, the Events Park? Is it because of the turnpike? Is it because of distance to homes in the area? What is it that you've learned in your time with talking with the folks from Notes Live?
Well, I learned not only from Notes Live, I've learned in my research about how people are spending money today, that when it comes to discretionary income, which is really what you pay for when you go to do any type of entertainment or a purchase of clothes, anything that's all you pay all your bills, more people today are looking for an experience. And that experience, especially for the younger generations, is going to concerts, is looking for some type of entertainment or excitement or thrills, amusement parks, hiking, biking, passive, active recreation. And I knew that before we met with Notes Live. They made it very clear that they've done their marketing analysis, and they have they're on the forefront of this transition of how people are spending their money, of wanting more in a type of entertainment like going to live concerts, especially outside. They shared with us their marketing analysis in some respects, and they determined that there's no issues with actually building this type of venue in this area, and that is much needed. So what you're going to have is you're going to have this circuit that basically starts in Colorado, comes through Oklahoma down into Texas, because as you know, just a couple of months ago they announced they were going to put a similar facility in Oklahoma City. And this is how confident I am about this project, is their private commitment for this project is somewhere between 70 and $71 million. And if you look at the public portion commitment for this partnership that the council has approved, you're looking at a project between public and private funding that could be close to $100 million. And so the city wouldn't have made these investments that we recommended to the council if we didn't feel confident that the company we're working with had the wherewithal and the means and done the research. And they were very, very open with exactly why they wanted to do this. And this is an emerging market, and I think they're taking advantage of. In the Tulsa metropolitan area, specifically Broken Arrow, we are blessed that they're going to be here.
You know, I was watching social media last night and this morning whenever I woke up, and it seems like the overall response is really positive and people are really excited about it. Some folks have expressed some legitimate concerns. Is there something in place that people are going to be able to express those concerns, whether it's with us or with the folks from Notes Live? Is there anything in the works going on there?
Well, we're going to have certainly we'll have a meeting coming up, with the public and inform them, and that would be a place that they can ask questions and certainly make any suggestions if they wanted to make. I will assure them that we also, the council, will continue looking at this. We look at the traffic flow. We're going to look at the sound. You know what I mean? We're looking at actually the way that the amphitheater is going to be turned so that it would minimize the sound that's going out. So it's going to actually be turned more toward up the turnpike. So we're looking at all those things, but there will be meetings coming up here soon that we've made the decision that we're doing it, but we certainly want to do the best job that we can at it. And so any input that we could get to make a better venue there, we certainly would like to look at it.
Let me just add that there is going to be the need for planning commission approval for the zoning, actually the layout of the facility. That is going to be extremely important. Council said this is not going to be do as I say, not as I do. Okay, and so we're going to make sure we follow our rules with regard to how you go through the planning process. So there's going to be all kinds of opportunities for public input. But once again, the council made it very clear is that at some point we need to open this up for the residents that live in the area and for the public to learn more about the project. And we're gathering all the information right now, as council member said, in order to be able to answer those questions. And at some point, Aaron, probably within the next 90 days, if not sooner, there will be a letter that will go out to those residents that live in the area of the events park. Although all of them live in Wagner County, we consider that to be essentially East Broken Arrow in many respects. And so council has a great deal of concern and respect for those people because we know that they support our economy. And I think it's safe to say we'll be sending out a letter and some information that'll ask maybe some frequently asked questions, which you're a master at putting together. And then we'll let them know the date of that venue. And Notes Live has made it very clear that they want to help facilitate that. They'll have their experts on site to be able to answer those questions, and we're looking forward to that meeting because those folks have the need, they have the right actually to know exactly what's going to be built and how it could potentially affect them to basically coming home because the concerts are in the late afternoon or evenings, what they could expect in the evenings or on weekends as a result of this.
We have all of the information, including the economic development agreement, the consulting agreements with Kimley Horn to do some of the topographical and geographical surveys out there, working on the designs of some of that infrastructure already, that sort of thing. All of those agreements are on the city website, so we really encourage folks to go there and check that out for themselves. We also have the opportunity for the community to sign up for email alerts and text notifications, and that's another great way to find out when the next public hearing is, the next city council meeting, the town hall, and that sort of thing. So any last words, gentlemen?
I'll leave it to the council member.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just ready to get going with it.
I'll let you go ahead and send us out of here with your familiar tagline.
Well, as I try to say all the time, that's it for this edition of what I say is Broken Arrow Motion, but this is a City Council Rewind, and I look forward to seeing you around town, which is Broken Arrow, which is a city where opportunity lives.
Thank you for watching. This is a production of the City of Broken Arrow, the city where opportunity lives.